I like to do something that's not that normal and that's not 100% safe. Yeah, it's dangerous, but I love taking a little bit of a risk. Getting out of my comfort zone gives me a great buzz. It gives me a feeling of being alive. I have to see the ocean every single day. Even if it's just for a minute, I have to go there and check it out, see how it looks. And if you smell that odor, you know you're home. My name is Kevin Langeree. I'm 27 years old. I'm a professional kiteboarder, and I basically travel around the world living the dream. When I was a little kid, my dream was I always wanted to fly. I always tried to find ways to fly, and when I was 7 years old, I came in contact with kites for the first time. We used to live in the Caribbean until I was 8 years old, and there was quite a lot of wind there, so got my first kite at age 7, and I really loved that. Every day I spent on the beach, I brought my kite and flew it. When I was 9, I started surfing. You know, I live 5 minutes away from the beach, so every wave that was breaking, I was there. When I was 11 years old, I saw the combination of two of my favorite sports, flying a kite and surfing. First, I couldn't really believe it. I was like, how weird is this? You know, two of my favorite sports in one sport. And that's when it all started. Noordwijk is a fun town, you know. I always, especially after traveling, I love to come back to this town. It's beautiful. It's a nice little beach town. It's right on the beach, and everyone that lives here loves the beach life. You know, the beach is super close, and there's always a lot of activities around the beach and the ocean, and yeah, it's just a very active and sporty town. Yeah, this is basically it. This is what I drag around me pretty much around the entire world, you know? It's crazy. It's the bags, a couple bags with kites and boards, and yeah, this is my life. You know, it's just got home back from a trip and reorganizing very quickly, and then I'm back on a plane tomorrow morning. This one can stay here. The cool thing is if your trips are so close next to each other, you don't even have to unpack, you know? You just have to take one or two things out and you can go again. I have a little apartment here, which I'm renovating. I'm trying to make it nice, you know, I have to start painting, but I travel 290 days a year. I'm just trying to find the time to do it. Feels like I did a pretty good job. The view is actually why I bought the place. There's a big flag there on the hotel, and that flag actually tells you what's happening on the ocean. And to me, that's very important. That's one of the most important things why I bought this place, because you would never ever miss a day of wind when you live down here, you know? In the summertime, it's just so busy. You know, I have this place, and then I do my competitions. I changed from doing a different discipline. I went from freestyle to big air, and the big air, like, really went well. You know, I'm leading the tour right now, so that's something very exciting. And yeah, I'm stoked I can still, after so many years, I can still make a career out of it, and I'm enjoying every single moment. And I think if you enjoy it, then it's good. Back in 2000, when I started, that was actually the first year kiting kind of came to Holland, and the gear was available, you know? There was no gear for sale, there was nothing. No one did it. So we had to kind of pioneer, which was great, you know? We went to the beach and we just tried stuff, and when we were with 3 guys, it was a busy day. And now certain spots have like 300, 400 kiters. I owe a lot to this guy. He made it all possible for me, so I'm still every day, I'm still thankful, you know, that he took the time to take a little boy, you know, spend time with him and show him around and lend him his gear, and old pictures, huh?
We started with the ski.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember this one, huh? Yeah. That big, wasn't that a parachute, like a paraglider or something, huh?
Yeah, no.
I remember flying this thing, but this is like 15 years ago, huh? You know, I really try to do something back to young kids nowadays, you know? When I see someone little and I see they need some help, I know what you already did for me and how good of a feeling it gave to me. It's such a long time ago. Look at you, man. Tarifa is basically the mecca of Europe for kitesurfing because there's wind almost every single day. You have two sorts of different wind. You've got the poniente wind and the levante wind. The levante comes from the Mediterranean Sea, and then the poniente wind comes from the Atlantic Ocean. Looking good today. It's always good to get the first glimpse of the spot. Straight from the airplane into the water. And that's good. Yeah, it's looking like we have the poniente wind today. I'm just looking on which beach is looking the best. There's a couple different beaches you can go to. And yeah, usually you want to make sure you pick the right one. So this is gives you a good overview on which beach to pick. Wherever you are, there's always signs of how you can see how the wind is good. You know, you look at the trees, you look at the sky, you look at the ocean, you look at the sand. And all these things will give you a little bit of information on how the conditions are outside. Looking good. Hola, uno espresso? Si? Yeah, I'm just checking up on my social media right now. You know, it's quite an important part of my job, you know? There's so much cool stuff happening, you know, I travel around the world. You know, I just came back from Dominican Republic, and before that I was in Fuerteventura doing a contest. Muchas gracias. And now I'm here again, you know. In 1 week I see 3 different countries. And they're not even next to each other, you know. They're on opposite sides of the world. So, yeah, I like to say something about that, you know. Taking my girlfriend for a spin in Dominican Republic. Yeah, basically living the dream, you know. I can, you know, 15 years ago I started kiting because I loved it. I still love it up till today, and I managed to make a job out of it and a living. And, you know, still every time I hop on that plane, I'm like, I'm a very lucky man. And yeah, I'm enjoying it to the max. This is my life pretty much. This is yeah, a little hotel room which I spend most of my time in during the year. I get to go home sometimes, but not that often. So yeah, this is basically the tools I travel with and keep me nice and fresh. And yeah, it's pretty strange sometimes living so much out of a bag, but you kind of get used to it, you know? And you kind of get used to it. Every hotel almost looks the same, so you kind of feel at home after a while. My whole life has been a competition. Like, it sounds really weird, and I know my sister got really annoyed by it, you know, because every little thing we would do, I would want to win. But I think you need that. I think you really need that. If you're too mellow, if you don't mind you lose, then I don't think you can be successful in a sporting career. Since I was a little boy, I wanted to become world champion, and I fought really hard for it, trained a lot, and became 3 times. I ended up on a 2nd place, really close to that world title. And then luckily in 2009, everything seemed to go my way, and I was on top of my game. I felt really strong and good, and yeah, became world champion. This is basically a kiteboard I use. This is my go-to board for freestyle in big air. Fairly simple board. It looks very much like a wakeboard or a snowboard. This board is made out of a wooden core with carbon reinforced strips to keep it nice and stiff. This is a part where you can regulate the flex with. You want a board that's not too flexible, because then it's going to go on the waves. You can hold it in control, but you don't want a board to be too stiff, because if it's too stiff, it's going to be very harsh on your knees. So you have to find the right balance between not too flexible but not too stiff. And we test all year round. And then yeah, this one came out on top. You don't need much, you know, that's the cool thing. The kiting is so small, you know, the kite is like this big if you fold it up, and the board is pretty tiny, so you can fit it in any size car pretty much. And that's the cool thing about kiting. You can bring it anywhere, and you just need a bit of wind, and you can go on the water, fly around and have fun. And that's the beauty of the sport. Yeah, it's funny, you know, you travel around the world and you go to Brazil and people like know you, or you go to Spain and people know you. Sometimes it's a bit awkward, you know, because I'm just a guy from Holland, like from Noordwijk, a little beach town, nothing more special. if I fart, it stinks. I love it, you know, I think it's great. It's great that there are fans that are following me through social media and other networks. And yeah, it's almost like a reward on your job you're doing, you know? It's great to get that appreciation of people anywhere in the world. And I just, when I go out on the water, I just want to show them what kiteboarding is all about, you know? I just love giving people a good show, and that's what I try to do my best at. I want to scare myself with the sports I do. Sometimes I hate that feeling of scaring myself, but you become so focused of it, and it gives you that feeling you don't really get from other things you do. So that excitement you get from scaring yourself really makes me, you know, feel alive. And I love that feeling. Sometimes at the moment, it's not a nice feeling to be scared, but afterwards, or that buzz you get from the beginning is just, it's just good, you know? Like, to me, if I do something that's a little bit scary, I'm on top of my game. Sometimes it's because you're in such a crazy roller coaster, sometimes it's hard to see what you're actually doing. But then, you know, stepping back and stepping aside and looking back at what you're doing, every time it keeps amazing me.